drying lesions and breast lesions. Especially about chronic cervicides, carcinoma acuminata, cervical cancer, leiomyoma, endometrial hyperplasia, and endometrial carcinomas. So chronic cervicides, what you will find? You will find inflammatory cells, and because of the inflammation there can be dysplasia also. If there is inflammation and there is dysplasia, you can call it inflammatory dysplasia also. So dysplasia because of inflammation is also known as inflammatory dysplasia. So can you see the epithelium? So there is many cells below the epithelium, small cells. All these black cells, they are inflammation. Now below the epithelium. This is all inflammation. And epithelium is having dysplastic changes. So this is inflammation and dysplasia. Can you see this? Above this, all epithelium. And there is variation of size, shape of the nuclei. This is dysplasia. And below this is all filled with the inflammation. These are inflammatory cells. Small, small black color. These are all nuclei of the inflammatory cells. So there is inflammation followed by dysplasia in the epithelium. So this is Pap smear. Can you see this? What is this? These cells, small cells. What are these small cells? These are inflammatory cells, neutrophils. And multilobe. Can you see multilobe? 2, 3 lobes here. 3 lobes. 1, 2, 3. So this is also multilobe. This is also multilobe. These are neutrophils. So you can find the inflammatory cells, and these big cells, these are cervical cells. These big cells are cervical cells. This whole is cervical cells. So these cervical cells you can find. This cell has an increased nucleus. Size is increased. So here also the size of the nucleus is increased. This seems to be somewhat normal. This again size increased. So these are the changes, dysplastic changes. From this picture, I am not sure. Because Dr. Abdul Rahman will make the hospital. So I cannot be sure whether. So this is chronic cervicides. Can you see this? This is condyloma acuminata of the cervix. Grossly what you will find? Red, pink to pink, brown, elevated papillae and rugose. This one. This is the cervical opening. This. And you can find this. This is condyloma acuminata. This is red, pink to pink, brown, elevated papillary projections. And what you will find microscopically? Microscopically, HPV will cause chyliocytosis. Remember the word chyliocytosis. What is chyliocytosis? What is chyliocytosis? There is nuclear hyperchromasia. Nuclear hyperchromasia. Nuclei become dark and they are surrounded by a perinuclear halo, a space. So nuclear hyperchromasia with angulation with perinuclear vacuolation produced by the cytopathic effect of the HPV. It means that the HPV divides. So it will cause destruction of the cell. This is what you will see microscopically. Clear? When HPV divides inside the cell, it will cause destruction. That is cytopathic. Cytopathic means destruction. So this is what you will see. This is a chylocyte. So chylocyte is this one. This is the nucleus. So nucleus becomes hyperchromatic, dark in color. Some angulation like this. There is the angulation here. This angle. So angulation, angulated nucleus, hyperchromatic nucleus, surrounded by perinuclear halo, clear space around the nucleus. So these cells are having HPV infection. If you find such cells in a cervical smear or in histopathology specimen, you will say this is chyliocytosis. This is infection by the HPV. Clear? So what is chirocytosis? Dark nucleus, angulated nucleus, surrounded by perinuclear vacuolization. So this is what you will find in condyloma acuminata. This is carcinoma of the cervix. First one shows fungating carcinoma. Second one shows ulcerating. Third one shows infiltrating. So it means carcinoma of the cervix can be of three types grossly. Fungating, ulcerating. Fungating means it grows into the cavity. Ulcerating means there is ulceration. Infiltrating means it infiltrates into the adjacent tissue. So this is fungating. This carcinoma from the wall, it is growing into the cavity like this. It is growing into the cavity, growing into the cavity. Here it becomes ulcerated. After it is growing, it becomes ulcerated. And here infiltrating. There is growth of the carcinoma and it infiltrates like this. Infiltrates into the wall and goes beyond the wall. It will go then serosa and goes beyond that. And 75 to 95% of the cases is squamous cell carcinoma because of HPV. The rest of the cases will be glandular carcinoma or adenocarcinoma. But mostly it is squamous cell carcinoma. And squamous cell carcinoma, you know. What is this? Granuloma in squamous cell carcinoma, what is the role of that? Tell me. Why you will find granuloma in squamous? We are talking about squamous cell carcinoma. Why you said granuloma? I agree with you, it resembles to some extent the granuloma, that is why he is saying. He is only looking at the slide. What are these? These are squamous cells. What do you call them? These are not giant cells. What do you call them? Have you heard the name of squamous pearls? Squamous pearls, keratin pearls. Isn't it? So these are collection of the squamous cells. In the center there is keratin. So keratin pearls, squamous pearls. Isn't it? So this is collection of the squamous cells. In the center shown by the arrow. This is keratin. So we call it keratin pearls or squamous pearls. Clear? So these are the squamous cell carcinoma. Can you see? I am not having leiomyoma. There. How many leiomyomas?
4. 5.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even you can find in a single female, I have seen, myself, I have seen 25 leiomyomas in a single uterus, 25. All types. Intramural, submucosal, subserosal also. Now I will ask you one thing. What is the type of this leiomyoma? This is subserosal. Look, this is the serosal surface. So it is going beyond, arising and pushing the serosa up. What is this? Projecting into the cavity. Submucosal, very good. It is projecting into the cavity. So that is, this one is going beyond the wall. So it is subserosal. Last thing is serosa. Here it is projecting into the cavity. Last thing is here mucosa. So it is going beyond the mucosa. This is submucosal. And this one?
Intramural?
This is intramural, within the muscle. Okay? Within the muscle is intramural. So, this leiomyoma, oh, I can use this one. This is not my hand, computer's hand. This one, can you see this? This is a leiomyoma, this is leiomyoma, and it has undergone red degeneration. Reddish color. Why it happens? It happens during pregnancy. It happens during pregnancy because there are hormonal changes. So leiomyoma increases in size and becomes red in color. So this is red degeneration. And what you will find microscopically here, bundles of smooth muscles running in bundles, smooth muscles running in bundles, and they will cross each other also. But they are benign appearing, no pleomorphism, no mitosis, nothing. So this is leiomyoma. What is leiomyosarcoma now? Can you see this? So this is leiomyosarcoma. It protrudes out. It is big and protrudes out from the cavity. And what you will find microscopically now? What is this? No, he is afraid. He will not tell anything. Tell. What is this?
Giant cell?
Very good. So this is a giant cell. Chances of becoming a pathologist. So this is a giant cell. Giant cell means it contains multiple nuclei, multinucleated giant cell, isn't it? So it contains many nuclei. It has been formed by the fusion of the tumor cells. So this is a tumor giant cell. Okay, tumor giant cell. So you find many cells here, and they are, some are very small, some are very big, some are giant. Clear? And where do you find the mitosis? It is saying a couple of mitotic fingers appear at the left and lower left. Can you see? It is better appreciated in the laptop. This one is mitosis. This here, this is mitosis. This one is mitosis. Okay? These are the mitotic fingers. When you find them, so you find 3 mitotic fingers in a single. So you have to find at least 1. 10 per 10 hypothesis. So it is surely a leiomyosarcoma. What is endometrial hyperplasia now? This is uterus, clear? This is cervix below. This is a uterine cavity. Can you find these things? These
Gland?
projections into the lumen, like these fingers. Can you find these? Can you see? Yes. So finger-like projections. These are not carcinoma. This is hyperplasia. The epithelium has undergone hyperplastic change and forming finger-like projections into the lumen. So when you can see this, there are many types of hyperplasia of the endometrium. One is simple hyperplasia, or this simple cystic hyperplasia. This is a gland, clear, and it undergoes dilatation, forms a cyst-like structure. This is known as simple cystic hyperplasia. Clear? Any doubt? Hyperplasia is a norm. Yeah.
Norm.
No, this is not the physiological one. We are not talking about the physiological one. This is pathological hyperplasia. Okay? So this is simple hyperplasia. Simple hyperplasia means there is hyperplasia and dilatation of the epithelium of these glands. Look, gland, one gland, this is a normal gland, this one. Normal gland, okay, small. Here this gland becomes large, cystically dilated, filled with some fluid. So this is cystic dilatation or simple hyperplasia of the endometrium. Okay, it can happen with old age. Second is complex hyperplasia. This one is dangerous. Complex hyperplasia. So you will find many glands increasing in size and becoming many, proliferating epithelium. So you will find many glands, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here you will find less glands, but here many glands are there, and there is proliferation of the epithelium. This is complex. But in complex, there are no atypical features in this complex, in this slide. But in this slide, this is a complex hyperplasia with atypical features now. It is much more dangerous than the complex, isn't it? This is complex and typical. This is complex and atypical. What does the word atypical means now? What are the atypical features? Pleomorphism, you will have loss of polarity like cancers. So these are the atypical features without the invasion. Only difference remains, invasion is much more important. So this is complex atypical hyperplasia. Glands become much more closer to each other. There is much more proliferation and there is some change, pleomorphism and other things are there. So this hyperplasia is more prone to get endometrial carcinoma, these patients. Okay? So this can also lead to endometrial carcinoma, but to a lesser extent. But here, because of atypical features already, more chances of. So, if a female, you know, many females, they have one complaint. What? What is a complaint? Females have many complaints. Lots of complaints, hundreds and thousands of complaints. Regarding the reproductive life, what is the complaint? More bleeding, isn't it? Huh? If you take an endometrial biopsy and you find this hyperplasia, complex atypical, what you will do? What you will do as a doctor?
What?
You. If as a doctor females come to you with bleeding and you take, because of some reason you take endometrial biopsy and you find complex atypical hyperplasia, what you will prefer to do? Maybe surgery. Good. Good. Complex atypical can lead to carcinoma. So you remove the uterus, hysterectomy. So if you find this thing complex atypical, this is good for the patient. You can remove the uterus, especially if she has completed the family. You can remove the uterus. But of course with this, you know, and you can go for the causes also. Maybe she is taking estrogens and this can lead to hyperplasia. If you stop the estrogen, maybe the changes regress. And the family is not completed. If the family is not completed, you should not attempt the hysterectomy. Only attempt hysterectomy after taking, you know, all the relatives and other people. Otherwise, you will go into the court and you will lose everything. Isn't it? These things are important. So this is complex atypical hyperplasia. This is endometrial carcinoma. Maybe this lady has endometrial hyperplasia and then after that she developed. Maybe she has not gone to the doctor. Isn't it? These are changes. Intraepithelial neoplasia or hyperplasia can lead to carcinoma. So look, a big mass, irregular mass, it is, you know, projecting into the lumen of the uterus. And what you will find here, well differentiated adenocarcinoma, you can find the glands, but sometimes if it is poorly differentiated, you will not be able to find the glands also. You will only find solid sheets of cells running here and there. Well differentiated means if a adenocarcinoma is well differentiated, you will find glands. Moderately differentiated, you will find the glands as well as solid cells, solid sheets of cells. In poorly differentiated, you will find only the clusters and sheets of cells. No glands will be found. Clear? So well differentiated, moderately and poorly differentiated. Fibrocystic change of the breast. These are the cysts. We say fibrocystic is composed of fibrous changes and cystic changes. These are many cysts, full of cysts. This is a cyst, this is a cyst, and they will be filled with mucoid fluid or clear fluid. And this cyst is also known as blue dome cyst, because when you see it from the outside, it looks like blue in color. So this is again fibrocystic change. This is fibrosis here. These are big cysts. Cystic dilatation of the glands. Where is apocrine metaplasia? This one. This is apocrine metaplasia. The cells become large, filled with granular acidophilic cytoplasm. Granular acidophilic cytoplasm. This is apocrine metaplasia. Here, in this gland, there is apocrine metaplasia. Pinkish cytoplasm, granular, and this is epithelial hyperplasia. Normally, how many layers of epithelium will be there? In breast, how many layers? Single layer of epithelium, followed by
Five.
myoepithelial cells. So 2 layers, epithelium followed by myoepithelium. But here in hyperplasia, here in this gland, the number of layers will be increased. This is mild hyperplasia, maybe 2 to 4 cells. 2 to 4, between 2 to 4. So this is mild hyperplasia. So in fibrocystic changes, you will find fibrosis. This is fibrosis here, cyst here, okay, apocrine metaplasia here, and this mild epithelial hyperplasia. Fibroadenoma. All of you know. This is fibroadenoma, this one, grayish white, this one, and this is fibroadenoma here. Which type? This is which type of adenoma? Fibroadenoma. What are the two types of adenoma? Fibroadenoma.
The pleural.
Intracanalicular and pericanalicular. Very good. This is what type? Intracanalicular. If it is not pericanalicular, it should be intracanalicular, isn't it? Only two are there. This is, the glands have become compressed, slit-like. So it is intracanalicular. Pericanalicular, glands remain. So here they become slit-like. So this is intracanalicular type. But many of the fibroadenomas, they contain a mixture of both pericanalicular and intracanalicular. What is this? Invasive ductal carcinoma of the breast. Look, this spider shape, extending the legs. So it will infiltrate, grayish white mass infiltrating into the surrounding tissue. What is this? Squamous carcinoma, okay? So you know, ductal carcinoma, no special type. Squamous carcinoma. So this is, you find sheets, clusters, cords of cells which infiltrate into the stroma. Okay? These are the sheets, cords, nests of malignant epithelial cells, and this is dense fibrous stroma in between. This is a characteristic feature of ductal carcinoma. And you can find some lymphocytes also. Again, this is invasive lobular carcinoma. You have, what is the pattern?
Indian.
Indian file pattern. Okay? So single strands of cells. So you will find small uniform round or oval nuclei diffusely infiltrating the stroma in a single file pattern. And this is known as Indian file. This is single file pattern. 1, 2, 3 in a line. So this is invasive lobular carcinoma. This is finished now. You want to ask any question? You can copy the lectures from here.